Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with my Kindle Unlimited Check In. So I just did that try a chapter video and it was time, obviously after that, to come back through and talk to you about what is going on in my KU right now. Especially as I'm gearing up for the Amazing Readathon. I've shifted some things around here because I know that I need to have some things to read for sightseeing prompts. And I also had some new releases that came out and some things that got returned. So currently have 17 titles checked out because I was okay with that. I picked a couple here, which we'll talk about in a minute, because I knew that I would probably read them for the Amazing Readathon potentially. So there's that. Let's start at the bottom of the list, which is of what I've checked out, which are my oldest to the newest. So first up, we do have the rest of the story. I am reading this in June. I actually got a comment on my try a chapter from a certain readathon host about this book. So it's staying, and I will indeed be reading it. Then we have The Midnight Bride by Katie Wilde. I read the first chapter of this, really liked it. I do plan to continue it. I'm debating if I want to read it this month, which I might, or if I'm saving it for a sightseeing prompt in the month of June, because it has a map inside. Either way, I do plan to read this. This follows a woman on a trial journey situation and a hero who is following her and protecting her, and he finds her kind of trapped after being kidnapped on the road. Then we have Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. This is a very, very long, darker romance book that I am going to read. I just don't know when yet. And I read the first chapter and I'm super intrigued, so it stayed. Wild Pitch by Kat Giraldo, another aging sports player. And I don't know who the love interest is in this, I forgot. But this is an aging sports player who's bisexual or pansexual. I don't know which is the label in the book, but I'm really, really intrigued by this one. I have wanted to read this for a while. I'm also hoping it will fit for one of the prompts in the Amazing Readathon, which it very easily could. Then we have Behind the Net, A Grumpy Sunshine Hockey Romance by Stephanie Archer. This is one that I know a lot of people have DNF'd and a lot of people have liked and then not liked. It's probably one of the most mixed reviewed books on my Goodreads friends list. So I'm keeping this, and I do want to try and read it just so I can have an opinion on it, because I always enjoy reading things that are not controversial but have a lot of mixed reviews. Next, we have Voyeur Cafe by Jasmine Grace. This was a May rec from This Past Romance. My bestie, she loved this. She read an arc of it and loved it. And I really liked the intro. It was really, really fun. Again, another one that I feel like I can make work. There's a motorcycle on the cover, so it might work for a sightseeing prompt. I don't know. There's some options here that could work, right? I'm holding on to it because it does seem like a really quick read. And it was really fun because she owns a coffee shop and he has bought the whole building that has a window, windows down it. And his other side is going to be a motorcycle shop. And it's them dislike to lovers situation, which seems very, very fun. Next, we have The Scent of Us, one of the 2 Omega verses I have checked out right now by Alana Lee. This I'm really, really excited to read. Another one that I think I'm probably going to pick up in June. I mean, we're over halfway through the month. We'll see what I pick up, but definitely could see myself picking this up sooner than later when I finish the other one I'm currently reading. Actually, 3 Omegaverse. Or also easily picking up for a prompt during the Amazing Readathon. Then I have Dark City Omega by Elizabeth Stevens. I loved this first chapter. I'm really, really intrigued by the world building. This is also a book that I want to pick up when I can just finish it in a sitting. Same thing for the other one. This is my thing with Omegaverses. I like to finish them in 1 or 2 sittings. That's not how I'm reading right now, so they're books that are kind of just lingering until I'm in a position that I can do that. Dark City Omega definitely felt a little more dystopian Omegaverse-y, which I love and I'm very intrigued by. I did keep Lipsticks and Camera Clicks by DJ Murphy because the author has initials in their name, and that is a sightseeing prompt. And it is kind of a messy love triangle from the reviews when I looked at them after reading my chapter. I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued enough that I would like to try it, and enough people that I trust their opinion liked it that I think I might enjoy it a lot. Then we have Nothing is Free by Drea Wells. Again, another Omegaverse. This follows the friend that we meet in the Smooth Pack duet. So I gotta read it because I gotta know what happens to her, because we end on quite a cliffhanger about her in the second book. Then I have That Time I Took Down a Cult by Rebel Carter. One of my friends and members, Morgan, is reading this right now. So I'm waiting kind of for her full report back to me on it and how it is, because I would like to read it, but I'm not sure. I did enjoy my first chapter, but again, it's something I don't know if it's what I want to read right now. But again, also very easily could be a prompt. Fit a lot of the prompts for the readathon, so that's part of why it's still chilling here. Then we have the Possessing Her duet, which is Once You're Mine and Now You're Mine. This has left KU. It will not be leaving my KU checkouts until I have read it or it is available at a library. So there's that. I possibly will read these pretty soon here though, because I'm kind of in the mood for a stalker romance, and they're pretty short, so they could work really well for me right now. Then we have Until It Was Love by Pippa Grant. I'm in the middle of this right now. I'm over 50%. I should be done well before the end of the month. So I'm really excited to read this. I think it's been really cute so far. It's a fun dislike to lovers brother's rival on his sports team, and her brother keeps ruining her dates. So like very, very fun all around. Then we have When We Lied by Claire Contreras. This is one that I have on hold because pulled out because it is a cover with only text on it, basically. I feel like the rest is color treatment, and I really enjoyed Until I get whatever the first book in this series was. So I really do want to read this one, and when it came out, I was like pumped to get it checked out. Next we have Weston, a sequel to Asher, which I read last year sometime by Samantha Whiskey, and I really enjoyed Asher, and this one is the best friend assistant situation, I believe, so I really need to read this one sooner than later. They're very readable, and again, name in the title, easy for the Amazing Readathon. If you're curious what the Amazing Readathon is, because I keep mentioning it, I will link to Bree's video for you down below. That is where you're going to get all your information. If you want to come join me over on Team Romance, feel free to, or any of the other teams. Like I would be thrilled to see anyone else join us, so it can be any of them. And then last but not least, Devourer of Men by Nikki St. Croix. This is her Crocodile, Hook, and Wendy Darling retelling. I want to read this so bad. But again, I'm having the same problem where I want to just sit down and read the whole book, and that is not something I can do right now. And that sucks. I don't know why sometimes that is like the only way I want to read, but like right now that is all of how I want to read. And it might be the heat. I don't know, but I just like want to sit down and finish a thing. So that's just not gonna work right now. Let's move on to the 2 books I DNF'd from KU, which, hello, go me. I'm very proud of myself. First up, I DNF'd Defense of Hearts by Ali Siz. I wanted to love this so much. I had so much good promo for this book on my FYP, but I truly found the writing not that engaging, and I mostly was so annoyed by the time we time skipped and his treatment of the heroine, who's supposed to be his love interest, just like assuming she's a puck bunny when like literally a single conversation could have solved that problem. No thank you. I'm out. Literally, I was like, I'm out. I'm out. Maybe I'll try another Ali Siz at some point. If somebody has one that they think I really should try, I would be open to it. I don't know, it didn't work for me. I can't do a simple conversation would have fixed our miscommunication. That drives me bonkers. Then we have Sidelined Love. I do not remember who this is by, and I didn't write it down. I read like 2 chapter-ish, not even of this, and DNF'd it. I was like, no thank you. This is not working. I was interested because it was a hockey romance, college hockey romance, and she seemed to be like a chess player or something, so I thought that would be really fun and different, and it just did not work. All right, next, let's talk about everything I read, which is just 8 books. Not terrible. First up, we will talk about Make Me and Hate Me by Summer O'Toole. This is part of the Fox crime family syndicate, something like that. So I read the first 2. I have 2 more to read. These are really fun, just like kind of get you through books, right? They're not 5-star reads. They're funny though. So book 1, she's stalking this mafia guy, and badly, laughably badly stalking him. And he like starts walking places because he notices she's stalking him. That's how bad she is at it, okay? It's so funny. It's so goofy. It is over the top. It is not, like, this is not gonna be a 5-star for a lot of people probably. And if it is, I'm so happy for you. But it's just like fine. Like, it is absolutely fine for what it is, but it is also absolutely hilarious to read. And then I read Hate Me, which is book 2, which is a childhood friends, lovers to enemies to lovers again. And I love that setup. And this also follows a heroine getting out of a kind of pretty shitty situation with her family, and also just like navigating a lot of drama, so to speak. So this was really fun. I did enjoy this one a lot. I enjoyed the elements of this here, especially where our heroine was rediscovering herself a lot, so that was very fun. Next is Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. I'm not going to talk about this one at a time because it is no longer in KU. Actually, let me check. Okay, it's back in KU. I take it back. Okay, cool. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy. This was fantastic. This book blew me away. I was so surprised by it because it is a girl who is taking care of her 2 younger brothers in a shitty situation. Her dad is basically an alcoholic, Definitely check your content notes for this one. I don't have them all on hand right now, and I don't know where my notes are currently for that one. So check those ahead of time. But she is doing that, and he is a hockey star who got injured. He had a head injury, having a lot of nerves about getting back on the ice, and he comes to skate in the mornings, and she's there. And they end up skating together and working together through his stuff. And his parents are like super duper present on page, like super duper present on page in the best way possible. They start dating. Her parents start helping, his parents start helping her. They like get her out of the situation. It's just really, really sweet. And it felt like the right mix of angst for me for their age group and what was happening in their life. You know, that's a lot of responsibility for like a 21-year-old, right? And she's trying to keep her scholarship and take her brothers to their sports and all these things and make money. Like, it's just a lot, but also still be like a 20-year-old in college, you know, like that would be hard for anyone. And it just felt appropriate for how it all was handled. This surprised me so much, though. Absolute delight. Devoured it. Loved it. Fantastic time. Then I read God Complex by Darcy Dahlia because I'm in my like weird little serial killer kick right now too. And this was so good. This was such a fun, dark serial killer romance. It follows two actors who are serial killers and they know about each other, and a romance writer whose books are getting adapted. She has two series. One that has like mafia dark heroes, which are inspired by one of the actors. The other one has like golden retriever boy hero energy, inspired by the other actor. They both end up reading these books and become fascinated with her. So they demand for like different things. Like the golden boy one takes her out to dinner, and the dark one is like just following her around and she doesn't know, and all these things. And like, it's so good. They end up like kind of teaming up and agreeing to share her, and the end part of that is fantastic. I'm very, very excited for book 2 to come out because it was so much fun to read. I really am curious to see where it's going to go for Darcy Dahlia because we're also hinting at some darkness in our heroine here, so I'm here for that. Okay, next up, I read the Carolina Comets complete collection, but I didn't read the whole series, so don't panic. I read the bonus material in the back of this. So there was a novella about Ford that I had not read yet, and then there were text exchanges between the players in the back. So I just read the last little chunk of it, and it was a delight. I loved it. I had so much fun revisiting them. I really want to read some more Tegan Hunter, maybe during the readathon because they're so quick for me, but we'll see, because these are just, again, an absolute delight and a blast. Then I read Learn Your Lesson by Candy Steiner, my first Candy Steiner. One of y'all told me to read her Red Zone Rivals, so I will be picking that up at some point, I promise. But this was a really fun hockey romance. I probably will circle back and read the rest in this series because I was surprised at how much I enjoyed Candy Steiner. I don't know, she's just somebody that's never really been on my radar, kind of like Pippa Grant. Like, I know the name, I know her books, they just have never like drawn me in. But this is a single dad nanny romance. It is his daughter's kindergarten teacher. He hires her to be his nanny. And he is a single dad with this kid because they lost the mom when she was like 3 months old. And it has such a good found family in this and such a good like support group that like immediately welcomes our new nanny in. And, you know, there's a lot of tension before she even becomes a nanny. Like, he thinks she's really pretty, and there's just kind of tension whenever they meet. And that's really fun to see play out on page as she's living in the pool house behind their house. And the daughter was really fun. She kind of gave me, not completely, but a little bit of vibes of Gemma and In a Jam. So I loved her. I thought she was really just fun and quirky. And she's very grumpy like her dad, which is so cute. And we get to watch her like open up more and more as she has time with the nanny. Next, I read Funny Guy by Emma Barry. This is a very fun friends to lovers situation, childhood friends at that. This definitely has like Pete Davidson inspiration hero sort of situation. It also, I will say this now, includes audio with your KU checkout. So that's really nice. But this was so fun. I gave this like a solid 3.5, 4 stars. It is by no means like my favorite Emma Barry I've read yet, but I did just have a blast reading it because I think that she wrote such a interesting setup, right? He has been broken up by this pop star who months later has released a song that everyone is on him about, like, oh my god, that song's about you, just will not leave him alone. He's on an SNL type show, they're doing skits about it, he's hiding from the paparazzi kind of to goes and stays at his best friend's house, and she's trying to get over her crush on him. She's like, I've got to move on with my life, I cannot keep doing this and just waiting for him. And that was so good and so fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed this for the most part. It was a fun, quick, pretty well-paced read. So definitely an option to pick up if you're looking for an audio on KU. And then last but not least, I read Monster Pucker by Cleo Evans and Ashley Bennett. Another really fun one. Again, another 3.5-ish. I probably will read the second book, but I didn't like love it as much as I thought I would, nor did I hate it. It was just fine. It was a good time. It did what it needed to do for me, okay? Like, and that's all I can ask for right now in my life. So this was a fun one. This is a Krampus and a Yeti who are fated mates. There's a reporter who's hiding in a locker and catches them boning. And they figure out she's there, of course. And in doing so, they end up taking her out on a date. They are like, oh my God, she's our other mate. We follow this progression of them. Just a weird side story happens with blackmail. And mostly it's just a lot of sex on page, to be honest with you. And worries about like what it means if they're mates for the team to know and all this stuff, and like her as a reporter. It all gets resolved perfectly. It does end with a baby on the way. If you don't like that, this is not for you. But yeah, it was fine. I've read better and I've read way worse. It was just fine. I had a time. So yeah, that is everything I have read from KU in the last chunk of time since your last check-in. I expect to be back in July with a decent sized check-in because of the Amazing Readathon, but who knows? Who knows what I'll do. That is everything right now. Let me know your last KU checkout or return or both. If there's any that I have checked out that you want me to prioritize as well, and if you don't want to do any of that, leave me a pool related emoji, because even though it is almost 8 o'clock at night, your girl's about to go get in the pool and read a book. So I will be back to catch up with y'all in just a few days in my next video. I'll have links to all those books down below for you, links to I've read anywhere on the internet, and I will see you soon. Bye.
About to leave, already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions, we'll get away.